Hey, welcome to the video. My name is S, and I'm a huge fan of the Sonic series. There's a lot to be said about the various trials and tribulations of the Sonic games, but Sonic as a franchise is the foundation for my love of gaming. Some of my earliest gaming memories stem back to Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and I'm endlessly nostalgic for the memories those games have given me. What I'm here to talk about today is a short-lived but fondly remembered part of those early 3D titles that many fans, myself included, are practically begging Sonic Team to return to us. Whilst many may reminisce over the slower platformer gameplay or the gameplay variety with the shooting and the treasure hunting stages, there is one part of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 that I yearn for every time I pick up a newer Sonic game. And that is the Chao Gardens. So let's talk about it. Now, if we're going to talk about the Chao, we should probably explain a little bit about their lore. Frankly, in modern day Sonic, the Chao are just kind of there. They exist as funny little guys without really much explanation or context for their existence. There's some merch of them, and they do show up in the games, but there's not really much depth to their appearances. Arguably that's the same as a lot of Sonic characters at this rate, but that is a whole other discussion. If you started liking Sonic within the last 15 years, you'd have zero context about what the Chao are and why they're important. But if you go back to the first fully 3D Sonic game, Sonic Adventure, it explains that Chao are actually ancient beings and some of the original protectors of the Master Emerald. You know, that thing that Knuckles protects? Or supposedly protects. He doesn't seem to do much with it at the moment. Anyway, there was some treachery from Knuckles' ancestors which led to Chaos, who is a mutated Chao, becoming a threat. Chaos was then sealed away in the Master Emerald by another of Knuckles' ancestors, and these events are what pave the way for Sonic Adventure's plot. So, in Sonic Adventure, the Chao actually have narrative significance, which, from their current form in the games, you'd probably have no idea about. It's kind of funny to think that these adorable little babies are actually an ancient civilization, but that's Sonic lore for you. Within the gameplay of Sonic Adventure, however, they exist separate from the main gameplay within the Chao Gardens. According to the Japanese Sonic Adventure guide that I found on the Sonic Fandom Wiki, the remaining Chao that existed in the wake of Knuckles' ancestors' actions had to flee for their safety, and they were housed in artificial homes built by humans. So, that is the narrative shoehorn to explain why there are Chao Gardens in Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. But they technically have nothing to do with the plot of those games. They are essentially their own game within the game that is entirely optional and ignorable. For those unaware, the Chao Gardens are essentially pet simulators. You hatch Chao and then you raise them. In between the regular gameplay stages, it lets you slow down and spend a bit of time doing something else. You get to raise your Chao's stats with items that you collect from the stages, so it's a bit full circle in terms of gameplay loop. In Sonic Adventure, you can put them in races, and then in Sonic Adventure 2, they added a lot more depth with an additional karate minigame, alongside like a whole school for the Chao, additional hero and dark alignments, and overall just sort of improved the existing systems. In my personal opinion, the Chao Gardens are so fun and enjoyable, and despite being almost the antithesis of Sonic gameplay, they really make the adventure games feel a lot more well-rounded. They may have not aged super gracefully, but I love that the adventure games offer something for when players feel like doing something a little bit different, but still want to play Sonic. Arguably, for the kid back in the early 2000s who had very few games, this made Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 almost like multiple games in one. There's also just a certain whimsy to raising these silly little creatures that makes me nostalgic for the experimental ways of late 90s and early 2000s game development. You wouldn't find many game developers nowadays putting random pet simulators in their action-adventure platformer. The Chao Gardens are so enjoyable to me that I actually reinstalled Sonic Adventure 2 onto my PC from Steam and found a 100% save of the main game with a 0% Chao Garden, just so that I could raise Chao for the first time again since I was a teenager. The Chao system in Sonic Adventure 2 has such hidden levels of complexity, whilst also just being very easy to pick up. Honestly, I'm having a blast, and it's the reason why I started making this video. I miss this in Sonic games. I miss having the Chao and them being relevant. I miss the fun side quest that was building your perfect little racer or karate champ. The Chao that I've just started raising are being raised exclusively on the mythical creatures, and I'm having such a great time hunting down the dragons and phoenixes and watching my Chao grow. Honestly, they're just cute. They are so freaking cute. Especially in Sonic Adventure 2, where they can learn how to sing or draw, and they'll have favourite characters and be happy around them. It's just... oh, it's so good. Whilst the Chao Garden may not be everyone's cup of tea, you can't deny that this is just cute as hell. Sonic fans love the Chao, and it really does feel like they need their time to shine again. They've not been relevant for a long time, and it really does sadden me that I have to go back to a 20-plus-year-old game just to have fun with them. Nothing else really scratches that itch, you know what I mean? But it begs the question, why do the gardens exist and where did they go? From what I understand, the Chao Gardens were initially used to encourage people to utilize the VMU integration within the Dreamcast system. This allowed people to basically use the memory card of their controller like a mini game device, so you could transfer Chao to the VMU and play with it like a Tamagotchi. As Sonic Adventure 2 moved to the GameCube, this turned into integration with Sonic Advance on the Game Boy, so it just made plain sense. I'd wager that Sonic going multi-platform after Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic co-creator Yuji Naka's departure from Sega in 2006 culminated in no one being a champion for the Chao gameplay, and thus they fell to the wayside. It makes sense, but it also sucks. Building the Chao Gardens obviously takes up precious development time, and I assume as the years have gone on, it's shown that they're not really essential to making a Sonic game. Even if some fans miss them, they were ultimately only a feature in 2 mainline console games, so to any standard Sonic fan, it's not like they removed a core feature prevalent across the entire series. So as much as I understand why they're gone, I still miss the Chao Gardens. They were fun. They are fun. And sometimes I wish games still had time for rest-stop moments and whimsy. Many games nowadays feel either underbaked or stuffed to the brim with collectathon or completionist fluff. I wish more games had decent side activities or alternate game modes to bring better value to their offering. Alas, if the Chao Gardens returned, it concerns me that it would be as a mobile game or paid DLC, which isn't what I really want. But truly, who knows? I hope that Sonic Team find it within their hearts to one day bring back the Chao to their former glory. But what do you guys think? Would you like to see Chao Gardens make a return in the mainline games? Would you prefer a standalone Chao spin-off? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and a comment, and even a subscribe if you fancy. But either way, thanks again, and I'll see you later.